Welcome back, everybody, to Small Biz Feature, sponsored by Commerce RI, every Monday, 3 o'clock. And we're in the second segment on Business Monday. Later on this afternoon, we've got a couple of guests in the 4 o'clock hour. Megan Decker from G Media, and we'll also have Business Innovation Factory, Saul Kaplan. We're going to be talking merger mania in Rhode Island. Jennifer Luxmoore,
hi.
Welcome. Sin Bakery.
Yes.
Congratulations on the new gig.
Thanks.
Talk of when did you open?
About a year ago. Last June 15th, I think, was our grand opening.
And how's it been? How's business?
It's been crazy. I'm so tired.
I know that feeling as a person, as an entrepreneur. When was the last time you slept more than 8 hours?
I don't have an answer for that.
Talk a little bit about who's your customer.
We have a variety of customers because we have a variety of services.
Okay.
So we have morning coffee, espresso, Pop-Tarts, muffins,
I like
all
Pop-Tarts.
kinds of cinnamon rolls, which we have a bunch of locals come in for. During the afternoon, we're kind of quiet, so we have a bunch of people who actually come in and kind of use us at their office.
Yeah.
They sit, they have some coffee,
Yeah.
they have a Rice Krispie treat.
Great.
Then in the evenings, on Wednesday is just bar, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the evenings, we do bar and plated desserts.
Nice.
So we're getting people who are coming after dinner. They don't want to stay at the same restaurant. They want some drinks. They want some dessert. They're coming in for that. And then we have our cake people. So we started 12 years ago just as custom cakes. So we have people who know us for that. We've won a bunch of awards for wedding cakes. So we have a lot of specialty cake orders, people coming in and ordering cakes. A lot of that is done online though, but a lot of the business is still the cake business.
Where are you located?
We're located over on 1413 Westminster Street,
Right.
over on the west side of Providence, near the West Side Diner.
And talk a little bit about the growth of local bakeries. I mean, we're downtown. We've got Need Donuts over here. We live on the east side. We've got Need Donuts over there.
Yep.
We got drive in, you see the line outside of PVD Donuts. There is a real push back towards fresh, local baked goods.
Yeah, there is. When we started 12 years ago, it was kind of right on that cusp when the TV shows were starting with cakes. And so you saw this big boom of cake shops and cupcake shops, but that's kind of died off. There's not as many of those. And for a while, it was just kind of, us and a couple of others. But in the recent years, you've seen Gracie's opened up Ellie's, so kind of that French. You've seen PV Donuts, you've seen Rebel Artesian Bagels, you've seen Providence Bagel, you've seen Need Donuts, a lot of like little more niche-y kind of bakeries. I think it's awesome. Like, I think Providence has awesome food.
Yeah. Oh, across the board,
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
But it's good to see, when I grew up in Providence, you had Corb's and you had local bakeries, you had Le Petit Four at the end of the boulevard, and you just saw a lot of them. And then it seemed to go to wasteland for about 10 or 20 years of really no fresh bakeries, certainly nothing new opening. And now, last 2 or 3 years, talk about the business side of it a little bit. I'm going to grill you with numbers. No, I'm just teasing. Between 2 and 3 o'clock, what is your average sale per customer?
Pretty slow.
How's business from a business standpoint?
From a business standpoint, it's not what I expected. Everyone tells you, you're making a business plan with a new business. You're basically guessing.
Yeah.
I had some prior experience.
You had the 8-ball going?
Yeah. So I had some idea, but like opening the cafe and opening the bar, I really had no numbers to work with. So a lot of it was kind of taking a look at what does 7 Stars does, what does Coffee Exchange does, what does White Electric do, and all right, maybe I'll get a little bit of that business and kind of fudging some numbers together. So that was really difficult. And they're off. They're completely wrong.
Yeah.
The nighttime business is way more than we had ever planned. The daytime business is way less than what we planned. And the cakes grew. Like, I didn't plan on any growth in cake. I didn't want to count my chickens.
Right.
And that really grew. So, like, it's all over the place.
What do you think, what's driving the nighttime traffic and the growth of nighttime traffic?
I don't think that there's a lot of places to go. There's Pastiche, and
Right.
Pastiche has been there forever, and Pastiche is crowded. They still are doing a booming business.
They are crowded.
But we also have more restaurants that are opening outside of Federal Hill. So if you're not on Federal Hill and you want to do something after dinner, you're probably not going to go to Federal Hill. So we're seeing more people coming from some of the west side places, some of the downtown places coming over to the west side. So we're seeing a lot more people kind of finishing up and then kind of moving to a second location, not really wanting to end the night and coming to stop in and see us.
And daytime, we talk about it down here, the loss of Superman Building, and that there's not a major employer now in downtown Providence.
Yeah.
It's a few law firms, a few other things, a lot of government. Do you think that has an adverse impact because there's so many people that aren't working downtown, but they are living downtown?
I don't know if that would affect us, but no, I totally feel that affects, if there's not people downtown, like Providence needs more density.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of a 60-story building that has people in it, but more living is great. More people, hanging out, living here, like spending the weekends here, not just coming in for work, is what's going to help us. I would love to see the Superman Building be apartments. I understand how difficult it is, but that building is just wonderful.
So in year one, if your close friend came to you and said, "Oh, I want to start a Sin Bakery-like place somewhere else in West Warwick," what would you say to them?
It's been a hard year.
Yeah. We like honesty. You get extra points for honesty.
I would want to know what their background was. If they had, baking background or business background, then I'd help them out as much as possible. But if you are getting into the food business because you like it as a hobby and you think you want to expand and do it as a job, I'm going to discourage that. It's hard. I had my first day off in 2 weeks yesterday. I go in and cover the morning shift when the morning baker is sick. I cover the barista shift when the barista's not there. I open in the morning. I close at night. This year, I've put in more hours than ever before. And unless you're expecting that, unless you're up for that, it's just really, really hard. And I don't know that I knew that when I started this business 12 years ago. And I don't know 12 years ago if I actually knew what was happening, if I would have done all this. But I'm kind of here now, so.
Good for you. What about sort of the early stages? I mean, I think all of us who have started businesses see that cycle of, this is not as easy as they make it look to be on television. But the added benefit of getting to do what you're passionate about, and obviously based on the beautiful baked goods, you're doing what you're passionate about.
I am doing what I'm passionate about, and I love it. I may be tired, and there may be days I don't, want to go into work, and there may be weeks I don't get days off, but I still love it, and that is important. I am glad that I had a slow ramp up. That the first year was just me, and the second year was just one other person, and we had that slow growth. To come on the scene like Need Donut or PV Donut did, and just have that encompasses that ton of business right up front, and no time to learn and change things and fix things. That's got to be incredibly hard, and so I'm really glad that I had that ramp up.
And working with the state, working with funders, how was that?
It's actually been really great. We were turned down by my bank that I banked with as a business. Then we went to another large bank and were turned down. So we finally ended up with a credit union, Greenwood Credit Union, which was awesome.
Nice.
And they suggested Seed, which helped fund the rest of the loan through an SBA. And then we went to CIC, Community Investment Corporation.
Right.
Right before we opened. So the amount of money we needed to renovate, to buy the building, and then to open was more than expected. So we needed some gap funding to like hire the staff and train them for a couple of days. So CIC came through with that. And that entire process was surprisingly easy. And then Gina has put through the 10,000 Small Business Program, which I took part in, which was great. If you are a small business and you're looking to grow, I really, really recommend that 10,000 Small Business Program. So it's been surprising the amount of help that you can get if you just ask. And people like,
That's great.
I ask somebody, but it's not their thing, but they know who to direct me to.
That's great. We really enjoy having you on. We want to hear more. Do tell us when you hit milestones and launch new things. And I think probably the most important news that you could probably share with us is your next day off. That will be monumental.
I am going on vacation. I'm going to see how that goes, but I have a really good staff, so
Excellent.
I'm pretty confident that it's going to be fine.
Could you leave us your phone number and your contact information in case we need to get in contact with you because you're out of cream over at the bar? No, seriously, congratulations on the launch, and do let us know, and we appreciate it. And it's what's fueling Rhode Island's economy. It's all about small business in this state. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We're going to be back at the 4 o'clock hour. We're going to have Megan Decker from G Media Studios. She was one of the hosts to the Blockchain Conference Summit last week in Providence. And then, of course, Saul Kaplan from Business Innovation Factory will be on, and we're talking merger mania. A bunch of big mergers where the Rhode Island companies were the acquirers, and pretty important to both jobs and growth here in